Hello and welcome to the Artis Gilmore episode of the Hoop3 podcast, aka episode 53. My name is Logan Wortman, and as usual, I am joined by my sporadic co-host, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how's it going?
It's going good. Colorado fans, you suck.
All right.
One dude didn't mean to hurt Travis Hunter. It was not a clean hit, but I don't think it was a maliciously dirty hit. So the fact that you found out his address, leaked his number and his mom's number, that's like a 20-year-old kid. You're garbage people.
All right.
And they gave us some death threats. I feel like I'm the white knight here. I'm not a bad guy.
They're bringing a whole lot of stuff at me that I've never heard of.
Oh, man, I should know his name.
You're making a face
Henry
like...
Blackburn.
Okay.
Is the Colorado State Ram player's name. I need to move my camera. So you're sitting over on this monitor. And now I'm going to... So now you're right in front of me so it doesn't look as derpy.
When you look, yeah.
When I look at you in your eyes. But so, like, Travis Hunter, the popular two-way player for Colorado, was... injured in their double overtime thriller against Colorado State.
Yeah, I saw that game playing at a bar when I was door dashing.
So that's crazy that you door dash on College Football Saturday.
Yeah.
To me. But then he got hit. Colorado, being the upstanding fan base there, said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to find his mom's phone number and send death threats.
Wow.
To the point where, and I'm sure it wasn't just Colorado people. It was like people that are just there for the Deion hype. Yeah, so Deion Sanders had to be like, he is a good football player that, like, I don't remember the exact quote, but Deion was like, don't send him death threats. He was playing a game.
He intentionally hurt him? Is that what you...
That's what their delusional brain is thinking. But if you want to see intentional hurt, go to the second half of Colorado-Nebraska in 2018, where you'll see a defensive end, alligator death roll Adrian Martinez's ankle. That's an intentional injury. So you people complaining, I didn't need to start the episode off like this, but I'm going to.
I had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, no, I didn't tell because it hit me. Because I remembered that these are Colorado people listening, which got a beautiful state, but kind of a poverty college football program. And I'm confident saying that as a Nebraska person because I've never seen success. So I love what I got. I can handle the bad. I'm still there when it's bad, still there when it's good. But with that being said, speaking of things that are bad and could be good, Damian Lillard.
Yeah. What do you mean that it's bad?
Well,
like the situation is bad?
Well, depending on which part of the situation you're in, it could be bad, yes.
Yeah.
You know, but there's some new information out on Dame.
Yes,
which is exciting. And he is my favorite player in the NBA maybe now. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So the first thing that came out was, I think it was Mark Spears was like, hey, everyone, there's a mystery team in the East that's in the Dame sweepstakes.
Yeah.
And so everybody's like, ooh, who is it? And I thought, I sent you a text, sent it your way. I thought, you know what would be great? Because I think it is a team in the Central Division, which is the team we're going to be covering today.
That's true.
And the more I think about it, the first team that I thought of it was the Bucks, because it coincidentally lined up with after Giannis said, I'm going to go where I have the best opportunity to win.
Okay.
It like happened right after that. So that's what made me think, oh, I wonder if it's Milwaukee.
Meaning you're not saying that Giannis would be in the trade.
No, it's that Giannis would get Dame on his team. That Milwaukee to appease Giannis.
What is Milwaukee giving up to get Dame?
I don't know. I just was saying things.
Oh, okay. I see.
Like, I don't know yet. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
And also, just because the Blazers picked up a phone call doesn't mean the team's actually got a chance. But I would argue that Milwaukee could offer just as good of a deal as Miami's crappy deal.
I disagree. I don't think even close to anything. Miami has picks and young players.
I guess the young is an important
Bucks
line there.
have neither of those. The Bucks have very far out picks and
old players.
Old players.
Yeah.
But if you I guess
I just think Miami's deal sucks. Miami cannot offer the proper amount for Damian Lillard.
Yeah.
I would. Good. Their trade package could be for Jaylen Brown, and I'd be like, that's a little bit over, but not that much over.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what I'm saying is Damian Lillard's up here, like a fringe top 10 player. Peep out the last. That'd be episode 51. What episode 51?
What about it?
For our top 10 list.
Oh yeah, that was 51. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, go to episode 51. Give that one a look. But I was saying that Dame is a top 10 guy, and Jaylen is for sure not. Not even in the conversation as a top 10 guy.
Yeah.
And the fact that the deal would be that's probably fair-ish, maybe a little bit overpaying for Jaylen Brown.
I wouldn't say overpaying.
That's what I'm saying, how bad the Miami deal would be for Portland straight up without getting a third team involved in all this craziness.
Yeah.
I need to pause my music. Shout out to Martina McBride.
You're just playing music while you've been talking this whole time?
Yeah, it's just playing in the background.
Yeah.
Independence Day from Martina McBride was what got me a little distracted. But for those that don't know that song, it's a great one. And Trisha Yearwood's X's and O's is also a good one. But that's not the point here today. I just got fired up about this whole Damian Lillard thing. Just because I was like,
it's not as bad as that one time I called Kevin Durant Kevin on one of our episodes. I just heard that clip a little while ago.
But is there a team that's not the Detroit Pistons in the Central that it wouldn't be interesting for them to go for Dame? The Bulls? They don't really have that, but
they could
build something for Dame.
They could, but it's what are they going to do once they get him?
The Bulls are probably the worst case because Dame just gives them more of what they have. They're just trading
and they probably would have to give up at least some of their core, like Zach LaVine, to get him.
Yeah. But my thing is the one that interested me the most was the Pacers.
Okay.
Because the Pacers have the young assets.
Mm-hmm.
They have the capital.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just feel like Halliburton Dame would be fun.
It would be a pretty interesting backcourt. Yeah.
Whether it would work to the point where it would make the Pacers better for sure. But Damian Lillard walking into, is there a single franchise where he would walk in the door and they wouldn't just be better? You know what I mean? Just a dramatic increase. Maybe Golden State because they already have a good point guard problem.
Mm-hmm.
They have a decent amount of pretty good point guards.
Yeah.
But that's the only. I guess OKC has too many ball handlers, so it might take. Anyway, that's not the thing we're discussing. It just was. They said a mystery East team, so I feel like it's a team that we haven't heard brought up yet. So I don't think it's a Boston. I don't think it was a Philly because these are teams that we had heard through their hat in the ring and we're we're good. We're not going to help Miami in a 3-way deal either because screw that. Yeah. Why would we make Miami better when we'll have to deal with them in the playoffs?
Exactly.
So I was the Central is just a bunch of teams that are one move away outside of the Bucks who are already pretty much there.
Yeah.
But the reason I thought Bucks was because not that they could offer a better deal. I guess now that I'm really thinking about it, you're right. All of their guys are old and their picks are in the million-year future.
Yeah.
But it came just a coincidental week after Giannis had the interview. It was well, I'm just going to have to go where I can win. I want to make memories and I want to win championships. And wherever best enables me to do that is where I'll go. And I feel if you're the front office of Milwaukee, whatever alarm bell you have, ring it with all of the gumption you have.
That is very true. That would be a mightily concerning thing for Bucks fans to hear, I'm sure.
No, and it for sure should be. And we'll do a deeper dive on every team as this is the central episode. if people didn't remember that from when Logan said it a good 9 minutes ago. I've just been kind of yelling at you for 9 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even think I've said that so far in our episode, that it's the Central Division episode. I don't think I said. I think I just kind of did the intro and then
I just started rambling and jambling. Well, it is the Central Division episode because we did the Atlantic.
Sure I said, "How's it going, Jacob?" And you said, "Screw you, Colorado fans." And then that's how we went from there.
Well, I feel like it's how I feel. And then the other thing that made me love Damian Lillard just a little bit more before we get like the actual insight and dive into it is the greatest quote in the history of quotes. Damian Lillard would rather, quote, lose every year than play for the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I need to find but he was like, I respect what they've been doing over the last 8 or 9 years or whatever. I'm from there. Obviously, that's home. But I can't go be a part of that. They won 4 titles. What would I look like going to try to do that? I'll never do anything. I'd lose every year before I go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Damian Lillard for the basketball.
From a very different cloth than Kevin Durant.
One might say the opposite
Yeah.
cloth. Like if one is like Egyptian cotton, he's made out of like Russian Teflon. Like just polar opposite.
Wow. You know your cloths.
I don't know.
That was some jargon thrown at me right there.
Yeah, Teflon's pretty much just plastic.
Okay.
But it's technically...
So you were going like low quality versus high quality?
Yeah, well, and Damian Lillard's obviously Egyptian cotton. In the two situations.
Yeah. Yeah. They're definitely different cloths, that's for sure. No, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but...
I will.
Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, so Damian Lillard, a potential East suitor. I'm not sure who it is, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if it is one of those teams like the Celtics.
Like a Boston or a Philly.
Yeah, because mystery, I guess, I mean, it could just be the only reason they're saying that is because they're not revealing who it is. And like they're back into talks now, when they left, they changed their mind before, or that, they decided, hey, I don't want that. I'm good. But now they've changed their mind.
Well, and that's very much what Mark Spears made it sound like. If you look at the video that we'll probably have some on, sorry.
Probably the Sixers, because if you think about it, which is one of those situations would have had something change enough, for them to change their mind. I'd say the Sixers being here with James Harden, the longer and longer that goes on, like I'm sure that might be something that Daryl Morey's like, maybe I do pick up the phone and just see if they,
what
we
they're
can
thinking.
Get something done. Yeah.
Another team that I've seen is the Raptors. But for Dame, I don't think that's what he wants.
Why not?
Are they how much better of a how big of a step up does Dame's chances at winning a championship take? And I guess it's hard because like Portland's planning on him being gone. Like they were like, we've drafted your replacement already, and he's like waiting in the wings, ready to go. Give us 3 years and he'll be at like the same planet maybe as you. He probably won't ever be you, but it'll be like enough,
Yeah.
How much better, how big of a jump up is that?
I wouldn't. Okay. So I'll say that I'm not going to say that there's no way they'd be any worse. But I think that the Toronto with building around Damian Lillard, I feel like has a better shot, has better pieces to build around Lillard with than Portland ever has had. Because the thing with Portland, their struggle was always building a defense around Dame.
And that is already there in Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. So like all of think about the best teammates that Dame has ever had in Portland. CJ McCollum, not a defensive positive. Yusuf Nurkic, at his best, was pretty good defensively in the paint. But ever since then, he's been
neutral at best. Yes. And in a lot of contexts, you can put him in the pick and roll, kind of abuse him if you have a good pick and roll ball handler because he's just big and lumbering and very injury riddled. Marcus Aldridge.
Yeah, and that was kind of before Dame was even fully Dame yet.
Before he was truly Dame, yeah.
Yeah, and he's all right defensively, but nothing to write home about, I guess. Yeah, so it's just Jeremy Grant was, I think, one of the first pieces that they brought in that's been like a good piece to put alongside it. But the thing is, Toronto has a bunch of Jeremy Grants just on the defensive end.
5 of them.
Yeah. So it would be and I think also Dame and Pirtle pick and roll would be something, I think it would be better than the Dame and Nurkic. Wow. I just messed up his name. Nurkic pick and roll. Honestly, I think that has potential to be a little bit better.
Because you could do like Spicy P.
Are you thinking of a trade?
Yeah. Because you need, and money makes it hard, but like Otto Porter and Spicy P plus like picks.
I think Spicy P stays if Dame's coming. I think.
Okay. So do they do like OG?
Yeah, OG would probably be the piece to move.
So then you need to throw in another like decent money piece. Like who else is making okay money on their roster? Gary Trent. Who
Pirtle is
else?
also making good money, but
Scotty Barnes isn't making good money, but he could like alleviate some stuff.
And he would be a good if the Blazers wouldn't bite on OG, they might bite on Scotty.
Yeah, no, that's I guess
that's an interesting.
The more you talk about it, because like even if like you just be like, oh, we're gonna take the Raptors and take out Fred VanVleet and just drop in Damian Lillard. I'd be like, well, that's a pretty good basketball team.
It is, honestly. Not saying they'd be favorites in the East, but they would be a very good team.
It would be, I would say, immediately into the Milwaukee,
at least Sixers.
Boston,
yeah, that realm.
Like that, they're avoiding the bubble play-in most likely. And if they do, it's just because the East is very top-heavy, and the top-heaviness of the East is craziness.
Yeah.
Probably above Cleveland in my books, but
probably
that would be interesting.
But it'd be close.
A lot of exciting things to think about. So, and it's the mystery thing that I was like the mystery team in the East. But you also could be correct because like listening to it was Mark J. Spears. I don't know if he cares about the J. I feel like it's everywhere I see it, so he probably does. But he made it sound like he's like, let me find it. The Blazers have been talking to several teams. I'm kind of hearing rumors about another Eastern Conference team that I'm not going to throw out there just yet. Is the quote from him.
It's another Eastern
Conference team that he's not going to throw out there just yet.
And so what were you saying about that sounds like it might be the Sixers or Celtics?
I said I don't think it is because he says
opposite.
I do not personally think it's one of the teams that we've heard throw their hat in the ring. That's why my brain immediately went Central Division because there are a lot of teams that I think are a move or two away to being like much outside of the Pistons, obviously.
Yeah.
But like Bulls shuffle some things around. I feel like are close to that tier. Pacers could be a really interesting thing if they move some stuff around. And is there a more Rick Carlisle player out there than Damian Lillard in the NBA right now?
I don't know what you mean by that, I guess.
Just like a dude that loves ball.
Wow, okay. Maybe.
I feel like that's a Rick Carlisle guy. It's just a dude that just loves ball.
Yeah, I think Tyrese Halliburton is a super Rick Carlisle guy, honestly.
And he already has them, yeah. Maybe he's like trying to collect them all like an Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, if he had them both, I don't hate that backcourt. I just think that Dame would probably have to adjust a little bit because Dame, like we haven't really mentioned him in the guys that we bring up for like the heliocentric thing, but Dame is pretty close to that.
I think it's because everybody assumes he could adapt. I think that's like why he doesn't ever get brought up in that conversation because he for sure is. Like if you look at like where's all Portland's success been? It's when Dame is doing everything points-wise for them. But I feel like it's because there's been times where, like, he doesn't just do everything. They're not good when he does it. But
like when he had to kind of share the backcourt with CJ a little bit. Yeah, I guess. But at the same time, it's kind of like it's like how Dame and Steph are always compared to each other. Like that's like the main comparison Dame always gets. It's like, oh, he's like a little bit worse Steph. like Dame is like they're both 6'3", 6'2" guards that can shoot super, super well and handle the ball. They play the same position. But like the thing we went into a couple episodes ago when we talked about Steph, how active he is off ball, like all that, everything that makes Steph, Dame does not do any of that.
Not even close.
Yeah,
he's more like the James Harden comparison we brought up.
Exactly. And he's also like, I would say that there's things that Dame is better at than Steph, like it went in the clutch, just the way that if you put the ball in Dame's hands,
he just finds a way.
Yeah, and he just makes shots. He wills his team to victory in some ways. Steph, like the thing is, I think I've said this before on a podcast. It was way before. I think it was before Hoop Theory was even a thing. But
Shout out to Next Man Up.
Yeah, but I said that like Dame might get you in a better situations, like when it's in a crunch time scenario. You might rather have Dame on your team than Steph. But the thing is, if you have Steph on your team instead of Dame, you wouldn't even be in crunch time scenarios in those games that you need Dame for.
Because I think the only time we've seen Steph really go like crunch time Dame mode, I guess if you want to call it that, is against the Celtics, unfortunately. When he was like the only one that was just going bananas.
Yeah, that's playoff
and
moment.
Part of it's because he like, not to talk about Steph again because we talked about him for a good chunk of time.
Yeah,
but he like just does that. He's like, oh, I've got Klay Thompson to pass it off to. I feel like that's pretty like sure. Oh, he's wide open. That's going in 60% of the time for a lot of their finals runs. Oh, KD showed up. One of the most lethal scorers in the history of humankind.
Yeah.
Oh, I can dish it off to him. Oh, Draymond Green year when he just was insane.
Not to mention Draymond this entire time with the Warriors has been close to, if not always, been their like primary ball handler. Like he handles the ball even as much or if not more than Steph does.
Just because they do so much of that like top of the key action with him just kind of like sitting there doing things.
Because as good as Steph is on ball, he's harder to guard when he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
And then when you have a guy, Draymond has an insane basketball IQ. That's what makes him be like not great at anything, but really good at everything. Like the only thing I would say that he is great at is defense. And that's because of his IQ. He's not a freak athlete, not going to jump out of the gym, not going to outrun you.
He's got crazy long arms, though. He's got some physical advantages that make him special. But
you have like, yes, he's an NBA player. But he's even like special in that regard, which is, don't want to disrespect the man even more than I already have. Because I feel like I've been hard
when he came onto the scene, people called him undersized for a 4 a lot. Now he is oversized for a 4, not necessarily height wise, but like what he lacks in height, he makes up with his wingspan is like 7'3". I want to say something like that.
Oh wow! I never realized that it was that dramatic.
Yeah, he has very, very long arms, and he is pretty quick with like bouncing. He's kind of like a pogo stick shot blocker type of thing. He has good timing and stuff like that. So especially like 2016 range when he was at his peak,
when he was just
athletically
a menace, menace. This went down a rabbit hole, but that's what people come here for. I think, is just the crazy rabbit holes.
I think that was a good open. Honestly,
yeah, it was a strong, long open.
Yeah,
pretty lengthy in time, but I don't even see the time.
Oh, you don't? It's down at the bottom. 24:11, 24:12, 24:13.
I found it.
All right. Well, without further ado, we can get started here, jumping into the Central Division, giving our over-under picks. For those that don't know, didn't listen to last week's episode, we went over the Atlantic Division in that one, which was the Brooklyn Nets, the Boston Celtics, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Toronto Raptors, as we just talked about them a little bit, and the New York Knicks. And this week we have the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Detroit Pistons, Indiana Pacers, and the Milwaukee Bucks. And so we're going to go through these teams. We're going to look at their over-under line. Both Jacob and I are going to give our own over-under picks. And we are allowed one lock and one stay away per division. So a lock makes the selection worth 3 points as opposed to just 1. So if you get it right, you get 3 points. If you get it wrong, you lose 3 points. and a stay away just makes it worth nothing. It's just like eliminating a question from a test. So yeah, I think that's the basis of these rules. Pretty simple to follow.
We will give a watchability score for each team. I'll give mine. Logan will give his. And we will give probably what the general public's is, because like mine for the Celtics is 10, but the average person probably doesn't want to watch the Celtics. I think I gave them an 8-9 early season to see how the Kristaps things works, and then it drops to like a 7-1 probably for most people.
I think you said 7-5, but yes.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. We'll have 15 minutes to talk about each team. And with that being said, Logan, are you ready to start talking about the Central Division, kicking off with the Chicago Bulls?
Yes, I am ready. So looking at what they did last year, they got 40 and 42. They were in my ceiling floor range that I did last year for all these teams. My ceiling was 50 wins. My floor was 34. For my reasonable prediction, I had them at 43, so they were just a couple games off of that, 3 games. And so, so this year their over-under line is pretty understandable. It's pretty good. It's at 37.5. So, they need 38 wins to go over. And I feel like that's definitely something that could happen, but I don't feel great about the Bulls being a better team than they were last year heading into this season, just because they're without Lonzo Ball once again, and the rest of the East, I think, and the rest of the league in general, I think, is getting more competitive.
Step up. Showing that we are primed for expansion, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me, Adam. I know you listen. The league is primed for expansion. Don't wait for LeBron to retire so he can be a part owner of the team in Vegas. Just do it.
Yeah, I honestly
2026 seems like a great year to roll out the new teams.
Is that the year that they're planning on?
I have no idea. I just picked a year.
Okay.
I looked at my calendar and said 2023. I said, okay. They get the ball rolling, get all the branding shenanigans through, and send it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that it's about like the next 3 or 4 years that they're planning on.
Well, they should pull the trigger now because the league is so saturated with talent. The only thing that scares me a little bit about this
is it's going to keep getting more saturated, though. So,
and I was going to say the only thing that are we only saturated because we are in like a 3-year window of 2 eras smacking into each other?
I don't think so. I think the game is becoming so much more global that there's just so much more talent coming in.
More people to just play ball at a high level.
Yeah.
Well, in our top 10 list, like 4 or 5 of them were international players as opposed to just U.S. guys, which would not have been the case even 10 years ago. 10
years ago, the best guy to ever come out of Europe, by far, not even close, was Dirk Nowitzki. And now we have a couple, Giannis, Joel from Africa, but still,
one,
Nikola Jokic,
2,
all 3 of those guys are arguably higher than Dirk all time. Joel is probably lower, but the other 2 are probably over.
And this is just in the past 10 years that these guys showed up.
Yeah.
So,
Luka. I didn't even mention Luka.
Yeah, I was going through the top 10. I'm like, I think it's 5 of the top 10 were. Or because the bottom of the top 10 got shaky. Episode 51. But, so the Bulls, the thing that 37.5.
Yep.
They just need a big jump from someone that's younger, and I just don't know if they were going to get it.
Patrick Williams would be the guy.
Offense, he'll turn into a consistent offensive thing, or just stay on the court. That would help.
Yeah,
I think
that would
a lot.
Be the big
thing. Or they gave him money. Kobe White, I don't think so. But if he can turn into a 13 minutes, whatever they have him play, he'll probably play more than that because Lonzo's not playing.
He'll probably play more than that.
But if he can get him 8 points a game. And 4, just be a legitimate runner of their second unit.
Yeah.
I guess I should have looked at what he averaged. I can't imagine it's 8 points a game.
It's probably more than that. Kobe White?
I just think he's
not
terrible.
that bad.
I shouldn't, but he's not. But
he averaged 10 points per game last season. He averaged 13 the year before that. He averaged 15 the year before that. But that's when they were more of a bad team.
That's crazy to me. Because in my brain, I just can't get out of the thing where he looked. Yeah.
Wait, it looked what?
He looked like he fell asleep during that draft interview where he's talking
where
there.
he's freaking out about Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
Wow.
He looked like he just woke up.
Yeah, he does look like that.
Which is fine. That's just how some people look. I look fat all the time, but it's just I just don't think that
I mean,
they just need
on his career so far, 12.6 points per game on, let's look at this, 3-point percentage, 37%, 42% from the field, could be better.
So that's where he needs to make a leap, become more efficient.
85% from the free throw line.
How have I thought he was a bad basketball player?
I don't know.
I don't know your game, Kobe.
I mean, he's a bucket. He's not. He's kind of like he's got maybe a little bit of a D'Angelo Russell or
just an aggressive, great value version of that.
No, I mean like he's got the same problem that type of player has, like J.R. Smith-ish kind of, like like a bucket getter, but might have blinders on type of thing. Mm-hmm. A Jaylen Brown, to a certain extent.
Jaylen Brown is probably not the. I'll say it. He's probably the best version of that in our current NBA
because he's got a lot else to his game. Yeah. Than just getting buckets, but Kobe White might be a little bit like that. His main comparison coming into the league was Jamal Murray. And I think that maybe he could regain, like get on track to become something more of that. I think that the thing he needs to improve for sure is the playmaking side of his game, because that is where Jamal has taken leaps and bounds ever since he came into the league. Jamal's like a very, very good passer. He's the first player ever to average 20 points and 10 assists at least over the entire final series, which is insane that's the first time that happened. But
yeah, it feels like that would have been a thing that seems wild. Like Rondo in 2008 didn't pull that off?
Actually, I think it was the third person. Now that I'm saying that, I think it was Magic and Jordan. Jordan was randomly one person that did
20 points would be a lot for Rondo, now that I think about that.
Yeah. I'll look that up later. But
Steve Nash in his finals run ever did that?
He never went to the finals.
Oh, they always lost in the Western Conference Finals.
To the Lakers and the Spurs.
Yeah.
They had a rough path to the finals every single year.
Well, I feel like think how different. Remove two players, LeBron and Michael Jordan. How wild NBA history would look.
For the Suns especially.
No, for the Suns.
I mean, LeBron hasn't really affected the Suns that much, but
Jordan did. But Jordan did, but then you talk about Rockets probably regarded as a way better franchise. Suns, not this you're so close. Not like the Buffalo Bills of the
Celtics. Honestly, would have
look a lot better if LeBron wasn't there to slow stuff down.
Pistons would have been too. How many championships do you think the Pistons would have won?
Is Isaiah Thomas Michael Jordan?
Yeah.
Not obviously in the things that Michael, but in the way that people
forget that the Bulls overtaking the Pistons was not the Pistons on a downward trajectory. The Pistons were arguably still on their upward trajectory when the Bulls passed them.
And then they were caught them
old.
again.
Yeah.
The Pistons caught them again at the end. Not the same unit of Pistons, but the Pistons when the Bulls got not bad again, but
after Jordan left, you mean?
Yeah, the Pistons were good.
They never got in early 2000s. I got you. Yeah, but
I was
as far as the players that were there.
I was working on my car and I got a line here. I keep seeing it. Looks like I got an extra fat crease.
Well, anyways, we were talking about the Bulls. I guess we kind of got back to the Bulls accidentally.
Oh yeah, we totally went wild on this one. We only got 6 minutes left.
Yeah, so 38 or 37 and a half. I'm going to go a slight under. I don't feel great about it, but that is going to be my pick just because I feel like I'm going to go over on some other teams here, and I don't feel great about going over on every team in a single division. So what about you, Jacob?
I am going to also go the under.
Okay.
Because I just remember when they were a team I was excited to go see. We were trying to plan a double weekend to watch. I think it was Sixers and Bulls both playing one weekend in Denver. And it was going to be long weekend. It was going to be a fun thing because the Bulls were going to be a fun team to watch. Mm-hmm. And then they never really turned into that fun team. They just had injuries, and that's honestly still what they're dealing with is they're not going to have Lonzo Ball. Patrick Williams staying healthy could be the difference between this team hitting the over or the under. They've got obviously they got Alex Caruso still. Who else is there? They got Torrey Craig, which
Torrey Craig is a recent addition,
which is an okay ad.
He's gonna help out with their big wing defense.
And then Javon Carter, Andre Drummond. They've got pieces, but I just don't think it's enough. And it feels weird to say they'll only win 37 games, but 37 games still makes you you're the 10 seed and you're playing for a playoff spot.
They'll probably be around the same spot they were last year, honestly.
Yes, but I think it's just the rising tide of the top half of the East
and the bottom
West.
The bottom of the East, I think, is
the
the
bottom
big
feeders aren't going to be as bottom as they were last year.
The Magic, the Pistons,
healthy Cade,
healthy LaMelo in Charlotte. I don't know if that's going to do anything, but it's still something. It's a
step over where they were. They might not change the meter, but
a healthy Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana, all of their over-under lines are going up. So somebody's going to have to lose more games. Who's above them?
And it could be the Bulls very easily. So I also am going under on this one. This one, don't feel great about really a lot of these, but this will be my under.
Yeah, agreed.
Anything else in regard to the Chicago Bulls?
I don't think so. I think we're
good. Watchability
good.
Score.
Oh, yeah. Watchability
Score for this team 2 years ago when this experiment started, probably would have given them a 8-2. Now, heck no. DeMar DeRozan is still a very fun basketball player to watch.
Yeah.
Him alone probably gives them a whole 0.7 boost. So I'm going to give him a 6-1.
Oh, that's higher than I was going to give him.
What's your watchability score?
I was going to give him 5.9. So.
Oh, okay. We're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's
usually
pretty close.
I feel like you're more cynical than I am with the watchability scores.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had a whole debate about it a while ago. But then I feel like that's probably pretty average. I feel like we're not giving them some teams we give them way more juice than the public. The public last year probably didn't like watching the Thunder all that much. They're okay, they're fine. They didn't stay up every night to watch them.
Yeah. The public as in just general people, not necessarily basketball fans.
Yeah, just where basketball is your people's second, third sport, and they're just I'm just here because it's nothing else is really on at the moment. After anyway, but that's where I give the watchability scores. Ooh, we could add a new wrinkle: best Chicago Bulls jersey.
Ooh, I like the rookie Michael Jordan ones, the ones with the cursive Chicago, where he's doing the cradle dunk, and the red. It's red with the black lettering.
Yeah.
I think it's black. Either black or white lettering.
I think Pinstripe Bulls is it.
I was going to say
Pinstripe black.
Yeah, black ones with the red
letters.
Pinstripes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like those ones.
And that's good. And that puts us in a good time to move on to the next alphabetical team in the Central Division, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Correct. So their record last year was 51-31. For those who don't know, I'm a big Cavs guy. That's been my team for the last couple of years, ever since they got Evan Mobley in the draft. And their over-underlined heading into that season was 27.5 wins. And I was laughing at that. And I told the whole world that they were going to go well above that line, and that if I had to make an underline for them, it would be more up at 34, 35.5, something like that. They ended up winning over 40 games that season. I think it was 45 games. And then the next season, which was last year, they won 51 after they got Donovan Mitchell, which is a key detail there. And now they're running back this same group with potentially a more healthy bench point guard and Ricky Rubio, the man, the myth, the legend.
Could be big.
Added some shooting on the wings.
Which is what they needed dramatically.
Mm-hmm. With Max Strus and George Niang. So, if they want to go more defensive route, they have Isaac Okoro in there. And if he's being passable with his catch and shoot 3-point shot from the corner, then he can survive out there. But if he's not, then you always have the safety blanket of putting in Strus or Niang. And they can just catch the ball, shoot it. That's all they need to do. Karis LeVert I would prefer this team, honestly,
Is
if he wasn't there.
Back?
He is, yeah.
All right. My notes, where I was just scouring through a bunch of other things, it says he's, quote, decided to stop my professional activity to take care of his mental health.
Oh, he didn't go to FIBA for that reason. I don't know if
okay, that's why.
I didn't even think about that for the NBA season. That's interesting to think about. I guess I didn't even think about that. Huh. Well, so maybe we won't see Ricky Rubio, at least to start the year. Who knows? I'm not sure. I mean, training camp's starting here in a couple weeks.
Because the season's just about 3 weeks away for preseason, sorry.
Oh, for
preseason starts.
Yeah.
Preseason's early October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like 3 weeks ago. Three weeks away. Yeah, Tristan Thompson is back in town.
Big needle mover.
Yeah, Dean Wade, the best D Wade in NBA history. Amani Bates is a two-way signing for them as an not undrafted. I think they got him with the 53rd pick, 49th, something like that. But yeah, so that'll be. I mean, that's definitely like a high upside swing in the draft there, and he definitely is the same size of that 3 spot that they need to put on their wing to fill out. Because I mean, if once they get a bona fide, I wouldn't say bona fide, but a definitely like surefire starter level player at the 3 position, they'll have the best starting lineup in the NBA. I feel like with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell as the backcourt, and then whoever that 3 is at the 3, and then Evan Mobley and Jared Allen at the 4 and 5. It's a very, very solid starting lineup.
It already is with the question marks at the 3 spot.
Yeah.
So to be like, oh, now it's going to be
OG Anunoby.
OG. I don't know how they get OG, but like I see how they.
Yeah. He's not
Jay Crowder.
Yeah.
I just but not now because maybe we'll see Jay Crowder back and we'll talk about him in a couple teams as he's in the Central Division. But 50. What was the line again?
It was 50.5.
50.5. I feel like this is a team, and I'm sorry as you're a Cavaliers lover, that might be a victim of the rising East.
That's fair.
Miami, I think, will be better, record-wise.
Maybe, yeah. Even
because I feel like their record was lackluster last year, and somewhere in between their record of 40-something, 42, 43.
Last year, weren't they below 500?
I thought they were just above.
Maybe they won 42. If it wasn't 42, I think it was probably below. Maybe 43 at the most. But
I could see let's say the Heat only get like 3 more games.
Yeah.
Those losses have to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
The Knicks, I feel like, could sneak a few more wins from where they were at last year. Maybe not. They had a pretty good season last year. There's just a lot of teams that I feel like the Hornets get a couple more wins if LaMelo's back. Just a lot of these teams are rising slightly, and the losses have to come somewhere. So maybe Cleveland is where they come from. I don't know, but 50 is just –
it's a hefty amount.
It's a good line, but it's a hefty line, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So – with that being said, am I going to be a crazy person? I think I'm going to lock the under.
Okay.
I don't
think that's delusional.
50 is just a big number, or 51 they have to get. That's a big number.
It is. It definitely is. I don't blame you for that. I'm going to lean over, but I'm not going to lock it.
So our standings thus far through, I guess, only 2 teams. I took the Bulls. I can't even remember what I did. I think I took the under.
Yeah, we both took under.
I lock under for Cavs. Logan goes over, but no lock for those playing at home.
Yep.
Comment below if you're watching this on YouTube, or just let us know whether you think our lines are crazy or what you're feeling. Just let us know. We'd love to know. And while you're looking down there trying to find the comments, check a look at the description. Click on the links. They're usually like a blue color. And when you click on them, they turn darker blue or purple. It'll take you to patreon.com/hoop theory. or buy me a coffee and buy Logan, probably not coffees, more V8 Energies.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Not yet.
So, Logan, you went slight over. What pushes – so you think they win 50 – let's say slight over means 51. You feel like, okay, probably made 51.
Yeah. I think low 50s would probably be.
What happens for them to win 51 games?
I think, honestly, just having a similar season to last year, but with a better rotation around what they had, which is, like instead of having Jetty Osman, whose strength is not shooting, Karis LeVert, whose strength is not shooting, those guys in there at the 3 spot, Isaac Okoro, whose strength is definitely not shooting.
Yeah.
All the 3 of those guys like cobbling their minutes together at the 3 spot. Now
offensive
they have
consistency, like as a unit, not individual guys, but as a unit.
And I know people might be like raising their eyebrows at like, well, why does that one spot matter so much? It's because the way that defenses play them, a lot of like it became such an issue with, especially in the playoffs, the way the Knicks were playing them, because it was like they were keying into every action in a way that was like forcing the ball to go to that guy in the corner. And it was like that's
building
what the defense
wall.
is. That's
and
what the defense is giving up.
Yeah.
And so if that's what defenses are going to do to you and continue to give up that look for your offense, you need somebody in there that can make the defense pay. And that is what I think they got.
Mm-hmm. They went and found 2 of them. The only other thing that worries me and why I leaned under, they won a lot of close games against the top teams, and you can't like guarantee that every year. Like they beat the Celtics in overtime twice, I think. They beat the Sixers in a really close one last year. Like they had a lot of those really close teams against the top end of the East. Mm-hmm. And maybe you let's say if you do it again, I'm glad I'm wrong. You earned it.
Yeah. I also think the Celtics might have taken a slight step down maybe from where they were last year. Maybe a little one. Maybe a half a one.
Well, I talked about this last episode. I feel like the regular season Celtics will be a better team than the postseason Celtics. They sacrificed postseason, losing Marcus Smart, for regular season looking better, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That might be
true. Don't love. I don't like that at all. Just don't. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe just because as seasons wear on, people with fragile bodies tend to start to break down, and the Celtics are collecting them like they're Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
just trying to find as many. He could be healthy, but we're not sure. The only Iron Man I feel like we have left is Jason Tatum.
That's true.
And Jalen a little bit. But
and even Jalen gets hurt kind of a lot, honestly.
But his are never big, gone for huge. But yes, it's worrisome.
It seems like it's always around the playoffs when Jalen gets something.
Yeah. Whether it's a random cut on his hand.
Yeah, or elbowed in the eye.
Elbow. Yeah. It's always weird stuff, too. It's never tweak my pectoral. Or that's a weird one, too, I guess. That's a Jaylen Brown type of injuries. I just tweaked my pectoral, landed it on a weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be his left one so he can still stroke it.
But anyways, with the Cavs, though, I think also something that might get them a little bit more wins is Darius Garland taking another step up as I think I don't even think he's definitely probably my second favorite. I know I just used a lot of other words in there that meant maybe, but he's my second favorite young point guard in the NBA behind Tyrese Halliburton.
I think that Mobley's another guy that could take a step like that too.
Exactly.
I feel like, and I'm not going to change. Maybe I dropped a lock. Nah,
are you sure?
I'll take the L. The L. If I get handed the L by the Cleveland Cavaliers and Donovan Mitchell, I'll get handed the L.
I don't think it's a bad play, honestly, to do the lock on the under. I honestly
51
don't think.
is a lot of wins.
Exactly. That's why I don't think it's that bad. But I lean slight over because I could definitely see it going either way. And I'm a Cavs guy. I got to ride with my guys. No,
you have always been high on this Cavs orientation.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see that Vegas finally respects them and is giving them lines. So that's nice. But yeah, I think we're good on the Cavs now, right?
Watchability and favorite jersey.
You're remembering that this time.
I may or may not have notes where I wrote it in size 24 font as opposed to size 12 below every team.
Nice.
because I did I'm going to say it. I did a piss poor job in the Atlantic Conference one. So, conference.
I did too, but
I just did a poor job, and it was Jacob's watchability score.
Yeah, it was.
VA pomegranate blueberry, and now we're bringing it here. Squeaky
strawberry
chair.
banana.
Oh, I hate strawberries. Fun fact of the day for you.
You hate the flavor of strawberries?
Oh, I hate strawberries.
I don't like strawberries like the actual food because I don't like the texture, but I like the
I think it's because when I was a kid, I smuggled a bunch of medicine that was candy, and when my mom found a bunch of wrappers, was rightfully so worried. And they were strawberry flavored. So I feel like my brain has this that is death.
It's trauma.
I also didn't eat a bunch of them at once. If anybody's wondering, that's why I'm so dumb. It makes sense. I didn't eat them all at once. I had one or two at a time or something. Yeah. I didn't gorge on them. I had them pretty much it was a one or two candy at a time deal. So I did not overdose on children's Tylenol, if that's even possible.
Well, we're glad to hear that, and we're glad to have you here today, honestly.
But maybe that's why I hate strawberries. So there's a fun fact blast in the past. But watchability score for the Cleveland Cavaliers for me, Logan. You wanna start this one off because I started off.
Yeah, sure. For the Cleveland Cavaliers watchability ranking for Logan Joshua Wertman. I just gave my middle name for the first time, I think.
Did you want to give your social too?
What?
Your social security number too?
But I think my watchability score will be 9.7 for the Cleveland Cavaliers. It would be the second highest team in the league.
In the NBA.
Yep.
Spoilers, probably going to guess the Nuggets is his highest. Everyone, mine, not as bold as a 9.7. Quite a bit lower. Not super lower. They're still a good team. Still have things that are fun to watch, but they're not. If 5 is the average, I'm giving these guys a 7.4.
That's fair. That's fair. Still good.
And the average human watchability, Donovan Mitchell scores points like it's his job because it is.
And Darius Garland is so pretty. He plays basketball.
A sauce
pretty.
master.
Yeah.
I feel like my score is probably close to the national average.
Yeah, probably. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a pretty safe bet.
Not closer, but just mine is close-ish.
Yeah.
And then favorite Cleveland Cavaliers jersey. Are we going to go of all time? Ooh. I didn't really think about that. Or mine's a weird one.
I kind of like the LeBron Cavs ones. Were pretty good.
Yeah. I was already going to say the same one as me.
Oh, okay, but I think right now though I like some of theirs. I like the what's that? They're honestly their literal just home and away normal jerseys right now are kind of dope.
Yeah, I think it's their because they have a red maroon, but then they have a really dark maroon with gold lettering.
Yeah, the gold lettering ones are awesome.
The dark maroon gold lettering.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like. My second place, even though it is just brutal attack on the eyes, is their blue and orange ones.
Blue and orange. Oh, the old ones.
The old,
okay.
The Larry Nance legend.
Larry Nance, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Those are fun, but they also just look like Knicks jerseys.
Yeah. No, I think those are cool.
There's actually some pretty fun old Cavs jerseys, like the Shaq Cavs, the first run of LeBron Cavs jerseys. Those are fun with the red side, and then it goes gold, blue, red along in this ugly pattern.
Yeah. I found the name of them, but the blue earned jerseys. You should look that up.
Blue urn, dead person holder? Urn?
No, earned, EARNED. The Cavs blue earned jerseys. I like those ones. I've seen them wear them a few times.
Lightning?
No.
White?
Yeah, the white ones.
Okay, yeah, those are clean. There's one that is orange and blue in the exact same pattern design.
Oh, gotcha.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those ones. They're frosty.
Blue earned. Frosty's a great word for those.
Yeah.
Frosty. Have they worn them in a game before?
Yeah, they have. I've seen them a couple times.
Oh, wow. Actually, sleeping on it, Let me make sure this is the jersey I'm thinking of.
Fair enough.
The Cavs Christmas. That's it for me. The Cavs, like, it's the maroon with the gold Christmas lettering when every team had the cursive. That's that's like my all-time Celtic. Not all-time. I'm a big fan of that Celtics one. Big fan of the Warriors one. It's just Cavs Christmas 2017.
Oh, you like those? Okay. I think they're okay. I don't hate them. All right. I don't think they're the best Christmas jerseys of any team.
I don't either. I just like them because I like that they use a darker maroon. I like the dark maroon as opposed to the lighter maroon.
That's fair. Very pro dark maroon here. You're taking a strong stance.
Yeah, I'll take as strong a stance as you want me to. But moving on, because our timer was going off, but I felt like that was good quality jersey talk.
Yeah,
we're going to move on to a team where it should not be a debate on the best jerseys. If you think differently, you don't know ball. The Detroit Pistons are up next. Do we just want to open with jerseys, or do we want to keep it for the end as a surprise? It's the teal green. Yeah, it's the oh my goodness, forgot his name. See his face? He's got big ears. His name's Grant.
Grant Hill.
Grant Hill. Man, my brain was broken. I saw his face right in my eyes. Grant Hill teal Pistons jerseys with the horse rearing its head back in the flames. Sounds like the way I'm describing it, it sounds like a child designed it, but it's awesome.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. I like them. I also like the DE, like their ones they have right now, the black ones that say DET on them with the blue and the red stripe. I'm
so sorry, Grant Hill. Dang. I just put that man on blast. Just big ears. They're not even that big. He's just bald, so it kind of accentuates them.
The general manager for Team USA for FIBA.
Man, I'm sorry, Grant Hill.
But no, yeah, those are definitely the best jerseys of Pistons. I'm kind of debating what's second right now. I like the black ones right now with the DET, and I also like the actual green ones that they have now that say Detroit with the 3 stars over the D.
Their city edition for 2023.
Yeah,
2022
last year,
probably.
Or year before. Yeah.
There's Cade Cunningham's one, so it was last year. Just kidding.
He's been here for 2 years.
2 years. I'm done.
This is his third year.
Yeah. I like those. What's Detroit's city flag?
Oh, I have no idea. Detroit city flag.
Wow, that is atrocious.
Oh yeah.
I am sorry, people from Detroit.
It's not Maryland level gross, but it's close.
So much. So in the top left, it's like the top left corner of the United States flag with
1, 2.
Let me do the math.
Yeah.
Is it 13 stars? Then you've got the bottom right is like diagonal stripes. Top right looks like it's like an English house with like 3 little like griffin lion things.
Oh yeah.
And then the bottom left is 5 fleur-de-lis, like it's France. And then it's 2 women T-posing with a city on fire behind them. I'm not making this up. And it says the city of Detroit.
Yeah.
Do you see that city on fire in the back left?
Yeah, no, I do.
That is
it's pretty wild.
That's crazy.
But anyways, so moving on to the actual talk that we have for them today. We got there. So what they ended up on for the season last year for season wins, they got 17-65. So a pretty terrible record. One of the few teams.
Cade.
Yeah, he was out basically the whole season, and so. But they were one of the few teams that didn't end up in my season floor range at all. My floor for them was 23 wins. Reasonable prediction was 32. Ceiling is 40. But yeah, it had to do with Cade being gone. But so Cade being there this season, though, with their line being at 28.5, I feel like that's a pretty good line. But at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like Cade being there. I feel better about this one than I did last year about this season's team because, you know, during the summer we've heard at least some talks of Cade taking a leap up during his time rehabbing. And, you know, Team USA actually used him on the select team to scrimmage against the FIBA team, the team that went and represented FIBA or represented the U.S. in the FIBA World Cup.
Got fourth, I think.
Got fourth. Should have got third at least, but we did not. But anyways, yeah, so they use Cade Cunningham basically to simulate playing against Luka Doncic with Slovenia because they do have somewhat similar skill sets. You know, Cade isn't as to the same level as Luka at all, but at least an assimilation of what Luka can do with the basketball.
I feel like if they were like, hey, Cade, do your best Luka impression, it would be closer than you and me could get.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Cade though, I like how they're building around him in Detroit versus how Dallas built around Luka this whole time, and Trey in Atlanta. Although now with Trey, they did get another ball handler in DeJounte Murray, but at this point it's a little like they're both kind of established, Luka and Trey, that is, as like the whole team revolves around me. Cade has not had that happen yet. He's not stuck in that yet. They've used him off ball quite a lot. They've put the ball in his hands a decent amount too. They mix it up. They have Jaden Ivey on the team. They have Killian Hayes on the team. They have Alec Burks, Bojan Bogdanovic,
Jaden Ivey, James Wiseman, Thompson twin.
Yeah. Sar Thompson. Sar Thompson. Yeah. So they have some ball handlers, and they have honestly a good number of pick and roll mates with Cade too, which I love. But they got James Wiseman, they got Jalen Duren, they've got Isaiah Stewart. I'm doing this without looking at the roster, by the way. Please give me some names if I'm completely missing them. But
the ones that I've got written down, you haven't missed one. Joe Harris is there. I can't remember.
Oh, Joe Harris. Yeah. See, that's
not
another guy.
For the pick and roll.
Yeah, or really ball handler that much either. But he's somebody that can
maybe he's got a big enough frame. He could probably try. I don't know.
Set some screens. Yeah, but he's definitely somebody that will be on the wing, ancillary to the pick and roll action. That if defense shades over to help, then he's right there on the wing. So and he's a good movement shooter as well. So him relocating off the ball can make your offense just a lot more dangerous. And Cade is a very, very talented passer. Can find that set of hands to catch the ball and shoot that three. I didn't like that either. For those of you that didn't like the way that sounded, but
I don't mind it. That was pretty good. What I was thinking though is, isn't it fun how many instead of having a bunch of Kobe and Michael Jordan clones, now we have a bunch of these weird point guard passing elite people just coming out of the woodworks. It's because it makes everyone look better. That's why we're so prime for expansion. We're just waiting because there's so many guys that elevate the level of play, not because they're insane, but because they're a good passer. And you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like a pass that can happen, but they can do it. And so it makes a guy that's I'm a pretty okay shooter. But when you get great looks every time because your facilitator is elite, there's so many good young elite facilitators.
Yeah, I agree. This is something that it really intrigues me and could be an entire podcast episode, honestly. But J. Cal Mann, he has this theory that I think is really awesome, really intriguing at least, that about how the America, the youth of America, the culture, basketball culture in America, the past several decades, ever since Michael Jordan really became hero ball. The way that Americans grow up and view basketball is I got to put the team on my back and dominate, that type of thing. And it became much more one-on-one oriented. But in Europe, the big thing, especially in the Balkans, that got basketball really started there and made basketball very popular there was, number one, Tony Kukoc. And just, his emergence onto the scene. And who was Tony Kukoc's inspiration? Who did he draw from as inspiration? Magic Johnson. So he was a point forward, could shoot the ball. He's just very team oriented. And so then that became that's the culture in Europe is when you play basketball, you
play Tony.
Play like Tony Kukoc. You share the ball, you get everybody involved. And so now when we see Europe catching up to the US in terms of the basketball talent coming into the league, I just think that it's becoming much more accepted or much more part of the game than it was in the early 2000s. in the early 2000s, it was all like American influenced and all like hero ball, 1v1 isolation. But the more and more we see Europeans coming over, we see people in America reflecting
going that way as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's
now we just have a bunch of facilitators running around.
Yeah.
And then you see some of the top end European players, like as they're playing in the NBA more, like leaning into hero ball. Not all of them, but like Luke is an example of like, I think he's even more like everything revolves around him than he even was in the Euro League.
Yeah. But so he's different than everything. So like with Jordan isn't necessarily like a heliocentric, everything revolves around me player.
He's just a murderer.
He's like an isolation. Like Luka's really good in isolation, but he's like high screen and roll. Like, so like the team, he uses the other pieces on the team, but
as opposed to just get away.
But the thing is he has the ball like from the very, like he has the ball all the way up the court. And the decision comes down to either he's scoring or he's passing off for somebody to immediately score. That type of thing.
Yeah.
So that's different than like
the Michael
Jokic
Jordan.
does. And it's different both directions. So like it's more team oriented than like Kobe and Jordan, because that's why like Luka gets over 10 assists per game, because he is a very good facilitator, but he spams pick and roll every play.
Yeah.
If Jokic spammed pick and roll every play, we'd see him score a lot more points and get honestly even more assists than he already does. That's just kind of how that works. But
Luka did make the playoffs and Jokic was the Finals MVP.
Yeah. But so I don't remember how we got on that. Oh yeah, because the Cade is a young facilitator. But yeah, so I like the way that the Detroit Pistons are building around Cade, mixing in some other ball handlers so he doesn't develop in this way that he can only play on ball. So that's the issue with Luka. It's not necessarily that the ball is always in his hands. It's that when the ball is not in his hands, then he's not serving the offense. He's just standing out at half court,
watching four dudes play basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Or 9 guys, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, 28 and a half.
28 and a half. So they have to hit 29 wins to hit the over. I'm going to honestly, just because I don't have a team in this division that I feel good about a lock on, and we have to use. I feel like we have to use our locks. I guess I didn't establish. Yeah, lock, and we got to use every division. Got to use your lock and stay away. So, I'm going to put my lock on the Detroit Pistons over, which definitely could maybe come back to haunt me. But I just feel like mathematically this is the best bet I have here because it's the lowest line. You know what I mean? And so I'm just like 29 wins is not that much, but they are the Pistons. So maybe not. But I would not be surprised if the Pistons won 38, 39 games this year. Would you?
I wouldn't be like,
yeah, I'd be like, wow, that's a good story for Detroit. Look at them.
The only thing that I guess it's good that we've heard in the offseason, because wasn't Cade's like Cunningham's surgery and injury. I've got tabs open that are jerseys because sometimes
he had wasn't it wrist or something?
It was like shin, I thought.
Oh,
I thought
shin.
It was like a weird, bizarre thing. I'm going to look it up to make sure before I start spitting false information.
Yeah, he had season-ending surgery. I know that.
So it was shin.
Yeah. Okay. And so, are you saying that you have concerns about how he's going to hold up?
I just think it's not as bad as like breaking your leg and never trusting your leg again. But we've heard good things about him I feel like shin is not a re-injurable thing unless somebody kicks you in the shin. Like I feel like shins don't just break.
Probably not. Yeah.
So in terms of honestly, we've spoke before on this and I felt pretty strong about the under. But I feel like the fact that he was saucing up Team USA with his teammate, Jalen Duren, most improved player? Question mark.
Maybe. He was a pretty decent rookie, but he's just he's like a Dwight Howard. Honestly, he might be.
I I feel like I might also go over. Because I feel like I want to just root for more good things to happen than bad. And like the number of bad things that would need to happen for them to not hit 29, I feel like is either one big thing, like Cade is out again, but he's the only piece that I think is that important to them. Mm-hmm. Is him being out for like over half the season.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And but they've got a lot of depth at like everything else they want to do. Like Bojan Bogdanovic is there. He goes out for a couple weeks. Joe Harris can step in and do that. Not to the same level, but he can be that like off the pick and roll 3-point shooter, as you said that he can do.
Yeah,
they've got multiple guys that can do the same thing. You already brought up how they have a ton of guys that can do the pick and roll. And maybe this Thompson twin rolls up and is just like, I'm better than my brother. Watch me cook. Asar.
Yeah.
Asar. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's Amen and Asar.
Amen and Asar. As you were close. You said it the way that most people say it.
I could read. I was close.
What?
I can read.
You could have said amen like you did that one time, but
yeah.
So
anyway, I feel good about this actually. I'm going to take over. Not going to lock it because my lock's already booked in. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go with an over. Is that what I said, right? Over?
I thought you just said under.
I meant over. I'm going to go over.
Okay.
But I meant over. I'm not going to lock it. You kind of convinced me, and the more and more I think about it, if Cade has taken this step, if like he has the depth around them, if guys kind of get hurt every once in a while, they've got the pieces around him. Got a new coach, big deal.
Yeah.
They took
Monty Williams.
They took an entire bank and said, Monty Williams, you own this bank now.
Yep. Congrats. They gave him the most money in NBA history for a coach.
Which is just wild to think that, like, why doesn't anybody else get that? Not that Monty Williams is a bad coach.
They don't have a salary cap for coaches, by the way.
Yeah, I just feel like it's just crazy to me that, like, why isn't Eric Spoelstra making that money?
Yeah, I don't know why he's not making $78.5 million over 6 years.
Okay.
That's what Monty Williams is getting paid.
What is it a year?
A little over 13. So, like, more than an average player.
Would you rather have Monty Williams or Eric Spoelstra? Monty Williams, $13 million a year. Eric Spoelstra, $8.5 million.
Yeah, but, okay. Yes, if you look at it that way, definitely it's going to be Eric Spoelstra. But, like, the thing is, Detroit is saying, we want to be good right now. Here's a good coach. Let's overpay the hell out of him so we can get him to come to our team. You know what I mean? Like, Monty Williams probably isn't going to just choosing to sign to Detroit. You know,
also,
in a vacuum.
Eric Spoelstra heading almost into a contract year. Does he ever leave? I feel like he doesn't.
I highly doubt that. I don't know.
Like, I feel like they just like extend him.
Oh yeah, I mean he's Pat Riley's son basically. He's his prodigy.
And as long as Jimmy Butler's there, he won't play for another dude in Miami. He'll be like, I retire. No, he probably won't. He's Jimmy Butler. He just would be like,
he'd say Miami. I think as long as Pat Riley is a part of that organization, they're still the Miami Heat. You know, that's an underrated like pillar of in basketball importance. Pat Riley. He's never a name that gets brought up with like the insane importance for basketball wise, but he should be. And that will wrap up the Detroit Pistons group talking about Pat Riley. But before that, you guessed it, watchability scores. My watchability score for the Detroit Pistons comes in at a whopping 3.8. Okay.
They got exciting pieces. But
I'm going to go 6-7.
I'm saying 82 games, game in and game out. I'm not catching them all. We also had this debate before. Let us know in the comments if you're on YouTube. Can anywhere else leave comments?
I think there's some podcast platforms that can.
TikTok. If this is that probably won't be a TikTok clip.
Depends.
Be sure to let us know. Would you prefer that we take each season having a 1 to 10 scale, or
so like every season there is a team that would be a 1.
There's a team that you don't like, that you're actively like, yeah, I'm gonna skip no matter what other team is on.
Or should ones be reserved for the 7-win Charlotte Bobcats?
Like that type of bad. Should you make it a forever every year scale, or should it be a like this year only? Let us know. So mine lower, yours higher. Where do you think the national people will come in on the Detroit Pistons?
Probably more like a 4 or 5.
So yeah, probably
slightly below average.
Seems weird. It's weird that I'm lower on them than the national people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's lower than a 4 or 5. I guess it is. I mean, they're young, but I don't know. To me, if you like basketball at all, like a young team that's got a lot of young players is usually like the more fun teams to watch. To me, at least.
I just feel like there's other young teams I'd rather watch.
That's fair. There might be a couple. I like Detroit a lot.
Yeah. And with that being said, we are digging into the Pacers time. So let's get right to it. We already did the jersey talk at the beginning. It's Teals.
Yeah,
it's the Teal.
For Detroit. Yep.
Teal throwback, Trent Hill. Up next, we've got the Indiana Pacers. Logan, how do you feel about the Indiana Pacers?
I'll look at how they did last year first, and that was 35-47. So they were second team in a row, but again, I'm pretty sure there's not many. I haven't gone through all of them. I don't think there's very many that were not in my ceiling to floor range from last year. But Indiana Pacers were one of them. They won more than I had them at because I was not expecting the rapid emergence of Tyrese Halliburton to blossom into a full-blown superstar, not superstar, but full-blown star for a team. Was not expecting that to happen as fast as it did, at least. And also, I thought that they were going to be tanking their behinds off for the French Victor Wembanyama. I don't know why I just included that he is French, but I did. I was trying to think of a clever little phrase, but nothing came to mind.
They didn't wave the white flag and get with Wembanyama.
All right. But sorry if we have any listeners in France.
There's no way.
I don't think we do. I haven't seen that at least come up on the stats. I've seen a few in like Dublin and Singapore and like things like that, but not
Dublin,
France
the
yet.
land of my people?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Ireland.
Cool.
Yeah. Not many, but like somebody has listened to the show in Dublin before a couple times.
That's awesome. That actually makes me very happy. That's the land of my people.
Yeah.
I'm like aggressively Irish.
Irish.
Well, okay. I'm in the Midwest, and so everybody's German, Irish, or Polish. That's about it. We don't really go much past that.
I am all three of those. Those are literally the three that I am.
Or French. There's some French because German, France border. They touch each other if you didn't know.
Yep.
There's Czech. I just disparaged a huge portion of the United States and the Midwest area of it. I worded that terribly. We can just cut this out. Thanks for being a listener.
Wait, what did you word poorly? I'm confused.
I said like the United States Midwest portion.
Oh.
Just a really dumb way to say that.
Oh, that's fine.
The
Midwest region.
Just call it the Midwest because everybody that's at least in the United States would know what the Midwest is, you know?
Yeah. There is debate over that I've seen recently, but
that could be an episode.
We could.
That could be
I'll leave it at this. Dakotas are definitely in the Midwest. People who leave them out are
Colorado isn't.
Oh, I've never seen that. People putting Colorado.
No, people say Colorado's the Midwest. Let me rephrase. In a perfect world, my Midwest is flat parts of Wyoming and Colorado. I'll take those. I don't want Ohio. Send Ohio to the moon. Don't give me Ohio.
I also disagree with people that have to put entire states into the regions. Like it doesn't have to. Like Missouri can be divided north or like Midwest and South.
Because Missouri's in like three things.
Yeah,
it's like part of it is like the South. Part of it is like
Midwest,
and then there's like a corner of it that's like
Oklahoma
Rust Belt.
Plains.
Oh, I'm talking about just like the people, the personalities.
Rust Belt. Wouldn't that be like the Great Lakes region? Is that what you're
stupid.
Saying?
Yeah, I'm stupid. But I just feel like not geopolitically, no. The way people act.
Yeah, geopolitically, probably.
It's like Missouri's like 8 places. Culturally, Missouri is so many things at once.
Yeah. At the very least, they're very massively two. With
aggressively South Midwest and aggressively South.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I said South twice. Because you said Midwest when we were talking over each other.
You did. You said Midwest and South.
I'm gonna give the Pacers a reset, and we'll just try to cut a little earlier because we were 5 minutes into the Pacers and we talked about it for about a minute.
That's okay. We don't need to spend too much time on the Pacers, honestly.
And I don't want to jip any Pacers fans. What is the line at?
Their line is 38.5, so they need to win 39 to go over. I'm going to lean the slight over here. I do like Tyrese Halliburton. I like Ben Mathurin. I like Andrew Nembhard. They just got a pretty decent team there.
They have a very solid top.
Yeah. They're on pace to win more than this before Tyrese got hurt last season. And I
have 23 and 18 written down before he got hurt.
Oh, really?
So I don't know.
That's even better than I thought. That's crazy. They were a winning team.
Yeah. So
wow.
Through 41 games, 46 wins is what they were on pace for.
Yeah. Holy cow. Very, very good.
That could be wrong because I didn't multiply check that, but that's from one of the stories I read. That was what they had.
No, yeah. I mean, I believe it. It's just crazy, honestly. But I think that they could definitely hit the over. So I'm going to go slight over. Don't feel great about it, like I've said a million times now, but I do lean the over.
They also got Bruce Brown, and if he can be
forgot to mention my
used correctly, I don't think that he will look as good as he was in the Nuggets offense because
that'd be hard.
But if any team was going to do it, I feel like the Pacers could because they have a similar stratosphered facilitator in Tyrese Halliburton.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting, but you've got Bruce Brown, Halliburton, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield. That's a pretty respectable top core of guys. And then you've got Mathurin, Obi Toppin's there now.
TJ McConnell.
TJ McConnell's been there forever, I feel.
Ever since Philadelphia. The Jimmy Butler Philly team. 2019, I think.
Oh, so that's not near as long as I thought. But yeah, so
the king of backcourt steals. I think he has double the person in second of all time.
Jose Alvarado just hasn't been here long enough.
Yeah, he hasn't yet, but TJ McConnell.
He's there.
TJ McConnell walked.
OG.
He walked so
Jose Alvarado could run. I think I'm not even kidding. Over.
I think McConnell has a game where he had 9 steals. I'm not lying. You should look that up. What his all-time, what his career record, career high in steals is. I think it's 9. Yeah,
career.
I think he had one where it was 5 or 6.5.
10 steals.
He had a 10 steal. Okay,
against the Cavs in 2021.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that game, most of them were in one of the or one quarter, maybe. It was so rapid that he kept stealing the ball in the backcourt. It was ridiculous. But, yeah, anyways.
StatMuse is making you sign up and pay now?
Oh, the world is just becoming a less fun place to live in.
Granted, not everybody wants to look at TJ McConnell's best steal games in order. Because it just would it put random locks over some of the numbers.
Yeah.
Just like a little lock square. Dang, that's a bummer, man.
That should be just a human right, a basic human right. To view TJ McConnell's stats.
But honestly, if StatMuse asked for hey, we're running into hard times, I would donate because of the service they provide to the human race.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
But now that they're making me do it, I'm just a little bitter.
Yeah.
But get your bag, StatMuse. You could be the sponsor of what is up next, which is the watchability score, but you're not.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't have any money.
I think they do because I'm sure people maybe they don't. I don't know.
They just need more profit.
So I took over. I don't know if I said that. I'm pretty sure I did. Watchability score for the Pacers. Going to give them a 6-7.
That's pretty fair. I was going to go 6-9, slightly above the Pistons. Yeah. So
nationally, probably a 3-8.
Yeah, something like that.
Pretty low. I feel like people don't really care.
Yeah.
About the Pacers, which. It's a bummer. They've got one of the greatest basketball players in the front office. So,
yeah, Larry. What is his middle name? What is Larry Bird's middle name?
Legend. Are you dumb?
Oh, that's true. Larry the Legend.
Larry Legend.
It should be.
Imagine if he would have paid someone to fix his mom's driveway. How long do you think the Celtics dynasties last?
Yeah, I mean, they would have not. The Pistons wouldn't have overtaken them yet, and then in turn, the Bulls wouldn't have. Maybe, I don't know.
And then there's also obviously. Never mind. I'm going to stop there. If he just would not have had somebody work on his mom's driveway, if he would have had rather. But that will do it for them. Best Indiana Pacers jersey. I think I'm going to have to go back to the tried and true pinstripe, the choking Reggie Miller dark blue pinstripe. That might be it for me.
Those are pretty good. I like
without looking.
Yeah, I like some of the ones they have now. I like the gray ones, honestly. Pacers gray.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know if I might be able to find a better one, but for time's sake, going to move on. Also, by the way, Larry Bird's middle name is Joe, and his
no, it's not. It's Legend. Also, the choking Reggie Miller, that wasn't a pinstripe jersey. I thought it was this whole time.
Oh, was it not?
It's just like the one where they have the dark blue and it says Indiana.
Oh, I know the ones you're talking about. Yeah.
I thought it was pinstripe.
That's what I saw in my head too. Larry Bird's also, his birthday is Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh.
Of 1956. So
15 years
10
after.
years, like 12 years after, right? What year
did you say?
56.
Pearl Harbor was 41.
Oh, so
December 6th,
41?
1941. Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was like mid 40s. When was the end of World War II?
48.
It wasn't at the end of World War II. Wasn't Pearl Harbor?
No. The U.S. fought a whole war after.
No, they did one little. They did no. There's no way. Pearl Harbor was like towards the end. No, wait, no. Pearl Harbor was the reason they entered the war. You're right.
I was like, are you crazy, brother, man?
No, you're right.
The one little thing they did. What's the one thing? Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, the entire like Pacific Theater. No, it was definitely at the beginning. They joined at the tail end of World War I. Like that was the one that they jumped in at the end, and they didn't really jump in at the end. It was like it was a weird deal. The U.S. joining World War I, but World War II was a pretty decisive.
Ended in
Japan,
45.
Really?
Yeah.
That's when they call the end? I'm dumb.
September 2nd, 1945.
What happened in 48? Why did I think it was so late?
I'm pretty sure Hitler died in 45.
Yeah, so that would be a good end. I'm just dumb.
But I know that Japan, I mean, there's people in Japan still, like in the Pacific Islands, that thought the war was still going on over 10 years after it was over. So by the time Larry Bird came into this world, there were Japanese soldiers hiding out on islands in the Pacific still thinking that the war was still going.
The United Nations the World Health Organization was founded in 1948. That's what I mixed up my dates. I'm just kidding. I didn't know that.
I was going to say. Okay, but anyway, so moving on to the Milwaukee Bucks. So last year they won 58 games. My ceiling for them last year was 64. Reasonable prediction 54, and their floor was 46. So they're pretty well within that range. They're a little on the high end, but their over-underline for this season is 53.5 wins. And
great line.
I think it is a great line, and that is the reason why I'm using my stay away here.
And if folks are listening at home, I also have my stay away, and I will not touch the Milwaukee Bucks with a 36-foot pole.
Fair enough.
Going to stay clear of the Milwaukee Bucks because there's a world. I don't think it's it's not a huge chance, but with Giannis's kind of grumblings we've been hearing.
Yeah. And as we talked about at the beginning.
If Chris Middleton isn't feeling healthy.
Yeah, back to
he can't come
his
back the same.
Self.
If Drew Holiday's age starts to show a little bit because he's starting to show age a little bit. Brooke Lopez, biggest pickup of the offseason, Robin Lopez. I feel like there is a lot of things. Also, don't have Budenholzer anymore, which makes their regular season viability maybe lower because that's the one thing that he does is he takes your team and goes and builds a perfect what we should do and then does that every regular season game. And most of the time that just wins games. But in the playoffs, teams adjust. That's why we've seen him struggle in the playoffs, and he's not there. So they might be a little bit worse.
In Adrian Griffin.
Yep, and they might be a little bit worse in the regular season, but they might be better in the playoffs because of it. It'll be jury's still out, first-time head coach, but he's been around the league for a while. Mm-hmm. It's not like a certain other team in the East hiring a really young guy on their staff that really hasn't been very many places at all. Joe Mazzulla. I'm worried. Okay, the year. More and more I sit, the just worrieder I get.
Yeah. So sticking with the Bucks though, Adrian Griffin. Yeah, I think he's been in the talks for several years
Multiple positions.
Yeah, as being the head coach in other places, but finally got his first chance at doing that. I'm wondering if Marjon Beauchamp, if what we saw in that pro-am this summer, him scoring 82 points, I believe. If that is going to be a needle mover.
If Pro-Am matters, Peyton Pritchard is a legend. That man averages like 60 points in the Pro-Am.
But he is a legend. So
he's an Oregon Duck legend for sure.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then they also got Malik Beasley, who I think will be a good player to slide in as one, like their fifth starter, because just like the other East team or other Central team, the Cavs. They have four really good starters.
And arguably the Pacers, too.
Yeah, four good starters. And then that fifth spot is kind of flex. I'd say their fifth best player is Bobby Portis, but he plays the same position as Giannis and Brook Lopez do, kind of. So he comes in off the bench. Behind. But, so sliding in there at the 2 is going to be some combination of Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, Malik Beasley. I do see now for the first time that Drew Timme is on their training camp roster.
Oh wow!
But they already have all three of their two-way spots filled. So I don't know.
Brook Lopez with no defense.
Yeah. Wait, how is he like Brook Lopez at all? Because post moves, is that what you?
That's literally like I was like. I mean, his NBA comparison would be no one because dudes built like that don't usually. Maybe it's Luke Garza.
Luka Garza, is kind of similar.
It's just guys that are. I'm forgetting about the most prolific
David Lee,
offensive animal with no defense. Enes Freedom Cantor.
Enes Cantor. Yeah,
it's just Enes Freedom. I think he dropped the Cantor.
Yeah, for a while people were calling him Cantor Freedom, but I think it's Enes Freedom now. Yeah,
I thought it was Enes.
Like people were calling him Enes Cantor Freedom.
Yep, it's Enes Freedom.
Yeah,
it's Enes Freedom.
Yeah,
which is baller last name change.
Yeah,
a little bit below world peace, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
But he's the king of I've got all these offensive moves, but don't ask for anything on defense.
Yeah, yeah.
He's probably the highest that ever got level wise. Like he's probably the best.
He's up there. Honestly, of just like there's some like really short guards that have been that too.
No, I'm talking about as a center.
Oh, as a center.
I don't think there's ever been a guy that's been more just like, I am only here for offense.
Boban is kind of like that. He's better defensively in some ways, but worse in others. Like Boban is that, like, he's so good on offense that like when Boban gets put into the game, the entire game becomes about Boban. You know what I mean? Like
for the short stretches that he's in.
Yeah, that's why he's like a wild card. He's not regularly in a rotation, but Rick Carlisle loved to pull him out of his back pocket in the playoffs sometimes, and was like, "What about this? Like, if something the other team is doing is working, he's like, all right, stop doing that. You have to stop because now Boban is in the game." And now if you don't try to combat him, which is, I mean, the reason why he doesn't play a lot is because it's definitely realistic to exploit his weaknesses. But if teams choose not to exploit his weaknesses, then he's going to destroy you on the offensive end in the paint. So,
oh man, I just sometimes wish he wasn't like the biggest liability on planet Earth defensively.
Yeah.
Because just everything, like he's in a new commercial with Tobias Harris, Toby and Bobby. Mm-hmm. Just what a fun guy.
Yeah.
I just wish that he wasn't just an absolute
can't move very well. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. He's just not quick enough. But obviously he has the size. That's why on offense he just kind of like go.
Yeah. So that's why Rick Carlisle, whenever he did use him, he would run a zone to hide him. But with the thing that's wrong with that is you're running a zone.
against an NBA team.
Yeah, so
that's worked. Like, I guess the Miami Heat made a really deep playoff run this year, running this weird zone thing.
Yeah,
but then they ran into a team that was like, "Stop, we're an NBA team," and that was the Denver Nuggets. So, that was, man. I'm glad we could talk about Bobby in this episode. Brings me joy every time.
Yeah, he was the episode we used a couple episodes ago. Hopefully, I wish that would have come in there, but this will work. A little bit delayed, but
giving him his flowers.
So yeah, I think we did our picks already on the Bucks, didn't we? We both.
Yep. Okay, we both stay away because it's what was left, and I'm just worried about just so many things.
Yeah.
There's just question marks all over the place. Vegas did a good job, though. This is a really good line. Part of the reason it's my stay away. Because if they would have thrown it at like a 55.5, like expecting, I would have gone under. I would have not even questioned it.
Yeah. Maybe. I still would maybe use my stay away on that. If they put it down at like 50, like 49.5, 50.5, I probably would do the over, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But
it's a good line for sure.
Yeah, considering the two numbers we said, and it was like we're right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
As we wrap up, final watchability score for today: Milwaukee Bucks. They're a good team. Early season because they got the new coach. It'll be interesting to see. Granted, if you're a good coach, you use Giannis exactly like Budenholzer did because that was the optimal way to use Giannis. I'll give him early a 7-3, and I'll give him a straight 5-0. Because I feel like there's teams that are definitely worse than them that I would rather watch, but there's teams that are better than them that I would also rather watch. But if they're on, I'll be like, yeah, this is fine. I'm watching NBA basketball.
That's fair.
Like I'm just the definition of indifferent at a 5-0. For me.
I would probably go a 6-3 for my watchability score for the Milwaukee Bucks.
And the average Joe, probably right on where you're at, I would say.
Probably somewhere in there. And for their jerseys, I got to take the black ones. I love when Bucks wear the black jerseys. Purples, I feel like a little bit gimmicky. Like most of the time, I don't love when teams use colors that aren't a part of their main palette. Like I don't like it when they use their blue jerseys.
The one that is like literally the exact same as their greens. They just put blue on it instead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like those ones. The black ones that I like are the ones that have the antlers on the side.
Oh, no, if I like any of their black ones, it's the one that has the gold stripe across it with the deer just right in the middle.
Oh, those ones are okay. But those ones have blue on them, and I think is the reason why I don't love that. Oh. Because they have a little blue stripe. But
or no, maybe
I guess the collar is blue on the ones that I said I do like. I didn't even notice that. So
no, I'm actually gonna retract from my all purple. I'm gonna do the one that has the deer that has purple on it. Like the Ray Allen with like the deer.
They're like like new metal, like the Limp Bizkit. If Limp Bizkit was a jersey,
like the angry deer looking off in the distance.
Yeah,
in green,
and also they're like it's like the aerated holes of the when the jerseys are like very holy to get have that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Is there another Bucks jersey I'm sleeping on? Bucks. Oh, Cream Cities.
The Cream Cities are underrated. I think a lot of people make fun of them, but I like them.
Oh, okay. I'm seeing the black with the buck horns on the side as like the side thing.
Those ones are my favorites.
Oh, man, the Bucks got some pretty – they're not as much of a plethora as some other teams out there, but they've got some okay jerseys to choose from.
They do.
Oh, my goodness. I'm actually sleeping on it. Rookie Giannis, for sure. The green with the red –
oh, the red was on. I kind of like the red.
No,
honestly.
That's it.
Rookie Giannis. Oh yeah, I kind of. That's a vibe, honestly.
I think that's it for me. That's gonna be it.
The red being in the Bucks, I wouldn't trade it for their current.
No.
Team branding.
But it's a nice palette cleanser.
Yeah,
throw a little bit of red in there.
Back.
Yep,
for sure. All right. Well, that does it for the Central Division episode, the Artis Gilmore episode of the Hoop Theory podcast.
Great episode to talk about.
Yeah.
The Central Division, Artis Gilmore, a Kentucky Colonel and a Chicago Bulls legend.
Yeah. And if Kentucky, the closest
I feel like
NBA
Kentucky
team.
would have been a Central Division for sure.
Yeah, the closest
If
one.
Louisville gets another team, they'll be in the Central something.
Yeah, Indianapolis is not far, so we got Indiana here. They're like the living predecessor, or not predecessor, successor, whatever the host is.
Predecessor would most likely be dead.
Yeah. But so that will be the end of the episode. Thank you guys for listening so much. We love you. We appreciate you. And stay happy, stay healthy. We will talk to you guys next episode.
Peace.